This time on Low Boost, we're putting some miles on our 1966 Mustang. Holder, so I'm using this puppy. We'll see how that does. So I've got about 50 or so miles on the car now. It's driving pretty good. I've had to adjust the AOD TV cable a number of times. Right now it feels like what it should. I'm actually driving this thing one-handed, no power brake or no power steering, which isn't so bad. Shifting a lot better now. You notice it, but it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. You just got to put more pressure down. It just feels like you don't have brakes, but you just got to give it a little bit more pressure and it'll stop. But they work pretty good. I had a problem with the TV cable. It really wanted to chug, like downshifting into first. It was kind of rough, but now it's not so bad. Here, I'll get on it a little bit here. Car's driving right now. Great cruiser. It's not fast. You step on it, it'll rip the tires off though, which is pretty cool. So. Just giving it a nice cruise. Right now I'm going to my parents' garage because I got to work on the Corvette. So if you guys are new to the channel, you're interested in learning about that, I have a full C5 Corvette track car that I've been building to take to the racetrack. Not drag strip, like, round road course. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Coolant temps on this with this radiator have been phenomenal. I don't even get to the point where the fan has to kick on unless I'm really sitting in traffic. The Holley Sniper EFI has been awesome. I mean, I have the gauge here, as I showed you before, which works great. Cruising at 55 miles an hour, it will kick into overdrive at like 50. Then it's pretty good after that. It's really 60 miles an hour and the speedometer's off, but 1,600 RPM cruising. That's why you put an AOD in a 66, folks. Yeah, love it. Love the car. Love the way it drives. So I've driven it a lot more now. I have about 300 miles on the project since I've completed the swap. And I wanted to put some miles on it because you always have to work out the kinks anytime you do something like this. And there were a couple of kinks. With the Holley Sniper EFI system, I did a returnless system just because I figured it was easier, and they said that I don't really have to do it. But the only problem when you do a returnless system with a Holley Sniper EFI
is there's no fuel pressure regulator. And the car is fine when it was driving, but I've been getting vapor lock, I think, when the car sits. After it's warm, the car will die. And you got to give it a second. You can turn the car back on and it will fire right up and you can keep going. But I think it was getting some vapor lock in and it wasn't getting enough fuel. And with no fuel pressure regulator, it can really cause stuff like that to happen. As I suspected, the minute I put a return line to the fuel tank, all of it went away. I've taken it to a couple of cars and coffees with my dad, and anytime I have to run errands around town, I've been driving the Mustang around. The only downside is I don't have a ton of parking at my house, and it either has to stay in the garage or it has to stay at my parents' because I don't want it outside, so I don't have it at my house all the time. The one thing I wasn't expecting was actually getting so many people to come up to me and talk to me, whether I'm getting gas or stopped anywhere, asking questions about the Mustang. People really have a big love for these old school Mustangs, and I wasn't expecting it. Sometimes I get stuck in places because there's so many people coming up to me and talking to me about the car. It really turns heads. But if you've been following along with the channel at all, you've noticed I haven't made a video about this car in over 3 months, and it's because I haven't had to do anything to it to really justify making a video for. The Mustang is running great. I think having the AOD automatic transmission with the Holley Sniper EFI takes this car to a different level of a much more modern driving experience. It makes great power, it gets great gas mileage, it fires up right at the first turn, and it has great cruising speeds on the highway. You probably would be less than 2,000 RPM traveling 70, 75 miles per hour on the highway, which you can't say about some old cars. My dad's Chevelle right here, 1967, 4-speed manual, him doing 75 miles an hour. I think he's at like 2,800 RPM, 2,900 RPM, or maybe more, just because you don't have as many gears. Having an AOD transmission out of a Fox body definitely helps this car out a lot. I'm going to be selling the Mustang at the Saratoga Auto Auction on September 24th, 2022. So if you guys are interested, I'll put a link to it in the description below, and you guys can either register and bid online, or you can actually come live and see it at the Saratoga Raceway and Casino on the 24th. What's great about this car comparatively to other cars at the auction is this car has 24 episodes that we've done here in the garage on the entire project of the restoration and improving the car. So there is probably not a car that is as documented as well as this one is that's being sold at the Saratoga Auto Auction. So if you guys are interested in that, check out the link in the description. I hope you guys have enjoyed our journey with this car. I've enjoyed it a lot. I love Mustangs. I would really love to keep it, but we're gonna do another project, and so this car is gonna have to go, and it's probably gonna include an engine that you see in the garage here now. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.